wedding planning podcast.
Are you the couple with a Pinterest board for must-have wedding shots, or do you just want a nice pic for Granny's fridge?
Do you need a wedding video? Or will watching yourself cry in HD make you cringe forever?
And what even is a content creator? And why do they keep popping up in your wedding feed?
Well, today we're just going to talk about how to capture your day, and maybe in a more modern way, but I will talk a little bit about analogue too.
Oh, spoilers.
We are talking about photography, videography, content creation, everything like that today, and we're going to start with photography. And your photographer is, I think we've said this before, Vicky.
Have.
The photographer is the person you're going to spend the most time with on your wedding day, like more than the person you're marrying.
Which is quite a thing, really.
So chemistry, you need some good chemistry with your photographer. You need to get along with them. They need to make you feel calm. You need to feel really comfortable with them. So there's lots of things to think about when you start speaking to photographers. It's not just looking at what's the best package price and how long will they be there. Because if you don't like them as a person, you're going to really struggle to get the best shots with them on the day. And I think it's about thinking, when you're looking at their style, what is it that you want to look back on? What's really important to you? What was important to you, Vicky?
I think for us, we just wanted to capture a sense of the day, how it felt. We wanted to convey how it felt. It wasn't really about what it looked like for us. And we wanted it to be fun. We wanted it to be relaxed. What I didn't want was somebody hounding us all day going, can we have so-and-so and so-and-so? So actually the pre-prep, these are the people we want. If you need to get hold of anyone, this is the person you're going to speak to, either my planner or my matron of honour or whatever. So I think putting in the effort and the time before the big day, your photographer, like all of your suppliers, is not a mind reader. No. So, but I think it's really interesting, the idea that you get on with somebody. I do think that's really important. I've done a wedding fairly recently where the photographer, the work, stunning, absolutely stunning, but ex-military, and getting people into their various group shots, it felt like we were all being drilled.
Right, okay.
It was so, you do need to think about that chemistry and whether you actually fundamentally like someone, because if you like them, you also trust them and you're going to feel reassured by them. So.
Yeah, and I think I did one recently, and again, great photos, great, the product at the end, I guess, was fantastic. But they'd come from an agency, so it was cheaper to book this photo and video package through an agency. But what it meant is they didn't actually meet their photographer until the day. And I find that a really odd choice, because, like we say, you really need to have met them, and they were really lovely. I'd recommend them. But who knows, if the agency had sent
somebody else, it might not have been the same story.
And they weren't local, because this agency covered the whole of the UK. These people had come from only north of London, but they were coming to the south coast. And yet I think there are so many fantastic local photographers that I don't know, an agency photographer, unless you get to meet them, unless you know exactly who you're booking. And interestingly, I did actually email the agency and I said, when do couples get to know? Because I don't think I'd ever want to recommend it unless the couple gets to know who they're getting. And I got no response.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
So, that's a bit about that kind of chemistry and how your photographer feel, how you get along with them, what makes you feel comfortable, and having a really calm presence, I think, is really important. But it's things like, do you want your classic group shots for the mantelpiece, things that, say, Granny can have on the fridge, all of that? Do you want that kind of candid, more documentary style, that storytelling? Or is it artful? Is it trying to get kind of the voguey shots?
Ooh, the black and whitey, moody.
Yeah. Is it about style over, I don't know, the kind feel of it? So there's lots of different ways, and there's so many amazing photographers out there, and they all are different. So it's really having a look into that, and they are ninjas. They know what they are doing. They get in all sorts of different positions. Where was I the other week? There was a photographer, and she was lying on the floor underneath something, getting this shot, and the shot was amazing.
Oh, I think some photographers, I swear, are contortionists in their free time, because you're right. They're just like, oh, there's a pair of legs sticking out from underneath that Land Rover. Oh no, it's all right. It's just the photographer.
Yeah.
And their bags are always ridiculously heavy.
The amount they carry on them throughout the day is phenomenal, and they've got different cameras, they've got different things, and like I was saying about, there's the analog version as well, so you can have digital photography, and then some photographers now carry film, like the 35mm, like
the olden days
film cameras, and I love that because firstly, you don't know what those photos are going to be, which is a risk, and it is more expensive. I'll definitely put that out there, but you get that feel,
the texture, isn't it?
Yeah. So having a look at what your photographer offers, what style they offer, how they work, what their packages are, because timing's quite important. And when you look at a photographer, a lot of the packages will be kind of 9 hours plus or 8 hours plus on the day. Just making sure, do you want them there from when you get ready till your first dance, which is the norm, I'd say, most of the time, or do you want them to be capturing even later and some more of the party? I think from experience, a lot of photographers will say, you don't need that. If we capture the first dance and the first bit of dancing after that,
you've got the party, really.
You've got the party, because all that happens later
is it gets messy.
It gets messy. No one wants to see those photos.
I do.
But I do. And I did. And I had my photographer stay for longer and videographer stay for longer, because I actually quite enjoyed it. But yeah, there's lots of different hours, lots of different packages. And when you're looking at your photographer, always see if you can see their full wedding gallery, not just their Instagram grid.
Oh, I think with all suppliers, look at their websites as well. Don't just look at social media, because it's easy to make social media look pretty.
It is, and we all want to make our social media look pretty. As a supplier, you're only going to really put the stuff that you think is the best.
Yeah.
So have a look through what they do, a whole gallery, so you can get a feel for how did they do those group shots. Did they feel relaxed? Did it feel informal? Is it formal? And what is it that you're looking for? So I think that's really important with photography. And when you're looking at your budget, photography is a big chunk. It's good. It's worth it. Don't scrimp and save on it, because it's one of the only things that's lasting.
It's tangible memories, isn't it, really?
So I think be careful with that. But yeah, photographers, we know lots of great ones, don't we?
We certainly do.
We've worked with lots. We had our lovely branding shots done with Lucy Davis Photography, and my goodness, she made us feel so relaxed.
I felt amazing. I mean, and I'm not keen on having my photo taken.
No, me neither.
But she very quiet presence, but absolutely knew what she wanted, got us to do exactly what she needed us to do, but it didn't feel pressurised.
No.
And goodness me, if you are a bride, don't you want that on your big day?
Absolutely. That's all I want. I also want to not know you're there. I don't want to be thinking, oh, there's a photo I've got to pose. There's a camera, sorry, I've got to pose.
Yeah.
I want those photos to be going off. Interestingly, I don't know how many photographers offer this, but I had a couple last year who the mother of the bride was 100% absolutely adamant their photographer had to have silent camera.
Oh, really?
So they didn't. She
didn't want to hear the
didn't want to
know
click. They were there at all. So, and they found a photographer who was incredible, and he did have silent cameras, but I don't know how often that happens. I don't know how important that is to people, but it might be something worth thinking about. If you really don't want to be aware of them, then look into it.
But I think, as a sort of and finally on photographers, we know that they're contortionists because they get into a place. We know that they're weightlifters as well, because they can absolutely hoik those bags around. But also on the quiet, they're sort of like silent counsellors, just that reassuring presence, or that's what you would be hoping for.
Absolutely.
I think so. And take advice. If you've got a planner, again, it comes back to that. They will have a little black book of people that they can match you with and match you with your requirements. But photography, wonderful. Equally important, videography.
Yes.
And I guess that is a sort of yes or no, because not everybody goes for it. And if you are a little bit sort of not sure on the fence, here's a little truth bomb. Photos show you how it looked, no question about that. But video, that tells you how it felt.
Yeah.
Because you are capturing the action.
Yeah. That's it. You've got the
all
sound.
Singing all down. Yeah, absolutely.
You've got the colours in like how they moved, like how everything kind of swayed in with the weather and things. Yeah, I love it.
Things like hearing your vows back. I think that's really special. I think that's absolutely. And if you've got sort of relatives and maybe the way your nan shouted out halfway through the confetti shot, or a good videographer will bring all of that to life for you. And that said, it's not essential for every couple.
Absolutely not essential. But I do encourage my couples to look at it.
Yeah.
I think there's some things that you can kind of compromise on. And actually, I've got a couple at the moment who really looked into it because they thought we really should. And they came back and said, we just don't. We just don't want it. But most couples, when I persuade them to look at it, go, do you know what? There is something else we can compromise on to get that video footage. Yeah. And I might be biased. I just love it.
Yeah. And is it fair? I mean, I've come across a few photographers and videographers that work in tandem.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you will find a package where you can get that anyway.
Yeah.
And it's worth looking at that.
There's quite a few. It's really fun. There's quite a few husband and wife duos that do video.
I think that's amazing.
That do photo and video, and they obviously know how each other work really well. So they work together really well.
I know it's that sort of. They don't need to speak. They just know each other so well that they just crack on with it. But there are things I think that it's worth saying you should check what's included. Are they going to video the full ceremony, the speeches? Are you going to get a highlight reel? What is included in that package? Do they record audio?
Yeah, so it is interesting. So a lot of videography that you'll get back at the end of your day will be that highlight reel. So most videographers, the kind of basic package will include a 1 to 2 minute highlight reel, and that generally won't have audio. It will be 1 to 2 minutes. They'll have filmed for 10 hours of your day, and it will be squished into that 1 to 2 minutes. So that's the basic packages. You then go up to the next kind of level, and normally you get kind of an 8 to 10 minute cinematic reel. Again, doesn't always include audio. And you've got to have a think about audio, because especially if you're outside or you've got a big venue, if you want that audio captured, then your videographer's got to have your lapel mics ready. Your celebrant has got to be happy to be
regularly mic'd up, which is,
lovely. But you've got to just have a think, how's it going to work? And it might be the case that you ask your videographer, actually, I want that highlights reel. I want that really cinematic edited version, but I also just want really clearly my vows or the speeches. And that's something you will end up paying more for these different things, but know what it is you're going into. And also know that it's quite rare, and actually I have just had to find this for a couple, but it's quite rare that a videographer will offer unedited throughout. Most won't give you just the raw footage.
Oh, interesting.
Most want to be creative and give you a finished product.
Yes, of course.
So if you are just looking for, I just want you to record the ceremony and the speeches, then you're going to have to look quite hard to find the right people. But they are out there.
Of course.
I think it's just that actually having a finished, edited clip of your day is more what that's about.
To have realistic expectations, really. And drones, drones have really ramped up in terms of usage and popularity in recent years. Don't ask me anything about them, because they haven't got a Scooby. They're just amazing. Little flying
robots. Yeah, and it's all about, actually, you've got to put it onto your videographer to speak to your venue to just check, are they allowed to fly a drone?
Yes, absolutely. Really? But I have seen sort of, finished photos that were captured by drone, and they are extraordinary, and they do catch it from a completely different standpoint. So, wonderful. And also, if you are hiring a videographer separately to your photographer, do make sure they get along. let them know who the other is.
Yeah.
Because you might find somebody saying, actually, do you know what? I'm sure they're a great photographer independently, but last time I worked with them, we had beef. It all went down. We were in the car park having fisticuffs.
Oh my God, you'd be like, what? You've had beef with someone? I'd be like, actually, I'm not going to hire either of you.
Yeah. But
Let's be real, I'm not hiring either of you if you've had beef with someone.
But if you are working that closely together, just as a courtesy, let them know. So that if nothing else, they can get in touch beforehand just to find out if there's anything the other would find useful to know, all that sort of thing.
And I think that leads really, really nicely onto content creation, because content creators are kind of the new kids on the block.
They are.
And before I talk more about what they do, one of the things I'd say is everyone's learning how to work with content creators. And so the best ones out there know that the photographer comes first, and they have to take their footage from a little step back or a little step to the side. But they are also contortionists. They know where to get in, the gaps to fill. And it's a very different offering.
So but what, for the old people out there, like me, what exactly are they capturing, and for what purpose?
They're kind of like your little social media assistant for the day. So if you're really big on sharing on your Instagram, doing TikTok, having kind of some Pinterest moments, then they're the people that are there to do that. It's raw, it's unfiltered, it's, edited, but in a very quick, I want to say simplistic, and that sounds terrible. They're not, what they do is great, but it's not the editing that you're going to get from a photographer. No. It's not that really refined, finished product.
Fast and furious.
It's they will give you a ready to post reel or ready to post footage the next day.
Wow.
So they
can't sleep.
No, they have to. They take all the footage, they take all the pictures, and then they make it into something for you. So you get something immediately. If you think to your video and your photos, you will generally have to wait maybe around 8 weeks, sometimes more,
you might
sometimes
get a
less.
Sneak peek beforehand.
Yeah, you'll get a sneak peek normally, but even that might not be 1 to 2 weeks later. So a content creator means you get to have that look back at your wedding straight away, and I quite like that.
I do. Even as an old nana, I like that because I've got no patience and I want instant gratification.
And also, I think it takes away from having to say to all your guests, "Oh, please, can you make sure you get photos of that? Please get video of that." You've got a content creator, you've got a photographer, you've got a videographer. You don't need anyone else. So I quite like that. And interesting stat, because I love a stat.
You do love a stat. Come on, babe.
The search demand for wedding content creators jumped 586% year on year, according to Hitched. So that was their 2025 wedding trend,
isn't it?
It's ridiculous. So there's over 150,000 posts now using the hashtag wedding content creator. So it's big. It's big. It's new. It's there. I recently worked with a lovely content creator. I think she was at Handpicked Memories. And she just slotted into the day. She was with the photographer. She was talking to the photographer, making sure everything just flowed. And the photos, the quality was beyond anything I think I could do on my phone. She really, really captured it well. So it's really good for a couple that wants reels, you want TikToks, you want that story content, and that quick turnaround. But yeah, don't expect to be able to print those photos.
No, of course.
It's in the moment.
They are for screen rather than anything else. But I think actually you just touched on something that's really important. You don't then need all your guests taking a million different photos, which frees you up to be able to say to people, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please see it with your eyes, not through a screen.
Yeah, which is the best. Because
really
I can't remember, I saw the other day about someone, I think it was a photographer, was posting about having to edit out people's phones in photos.
Oh, it must be infuriating.
And then they do it and they're editing it out, and then they've got to put a hand in the place. The hand's like some weird shaped hand because they can't do it properly. Just get rid of the phones. Get rid of them. You don't need your guests taking pictures in your wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it drives me. It really grinds my gears, that, actually, because you just think, I had an elderly lady who not only held up her phone but then delved into her capacious shopping bag and pulled out an iPad.
I was about to say iPad. Oh my goodness, the amount of iPads that I see elderly wedding guests bring,
who have already been told, please don't. The couple would really rather you didn't.
The quality that they're going to be shooting on an iPad is so poor, no one ever wants to see it. Yeah. I think that there needs to be kind of like, maybe you go through security at the entrance to a wedding and you have to open your bag, and if there's an iPad,
I'm all for that. I'm on it.
Rejection.
And I know, it was one of those that you think, I'm the nice smiley celebrant. I cannot shout at this lady, but I just felt like saying, for God's sake, you've been asked twice.
Yeah.
It's on your order of service. Put it away.
Yeah.
Nana.
No, I think, we just need to get rid of that. And if we think about budget, when we're talking photo, video, content creation, if you want all three of those, you're realistically looking at 5,000 to 6,000.
Yeah.
So if that immediately sounds, whoa, that's too much, then that gives you kind of a steer as to where to go and what. You then have to make your decision, really, as to what you pick. But obviously there will be slightly more affordable people out there, and there will be much more expensive people. But I'd say on average, you're looking about 5,000 to 6,000 to have all three at your wedding. So, yeah.
Wildly Wed, the real wedding planning podcast.
So in each episode, we offer you 3 top tips, and I'm going to kick things off with our DIY tip for this episode. Guest photo booth. We all love a photo booth. Props galore.
Yeah, I'm into a photo booth.
I think it gives people permission to just be a bit silly. And if you can't be a bit silly at a wedding, when can you be?
Absolutely.
But you can set up something quite simple. If budget won't stretch to actually hiring a photo booth, and they can be quite pricey and spendy, you can set up something much simpler with a ring light, a backdrop and a Polaroid or a phone station. All you need to do really is provide an album and tapes so guests can stick their photos in for you and leave lovely little messages. There you go. It's an instant guest book. What's not to like?
Love it. I actually really like the Polaroids as well, or Instax, whatever it is, because you don't even have to have a backdrop. You just give them the camera, you give them the film. It costs a bit to buy the film, but then it's done. So love that. Thank you. And I'm going to do our sustainability tip for this episode. So how do you make it green? Well, actually, photography, videography, content creation is relatively green already, but things like having digital delivery so that you don't have any plastic USBs, you're not getting tons of things printed that you haven't yet seen or decided on, recycled, locally printed albums, and when we're talking about the Instax and things, they aren't the most green, and disposable cameras aren't the most green. So it's really depending on the level you want to go for, but making sure that things are in recyclable packaging or that you limit the amount of them that you buy. But actually, this episode is quite green.
Well, who knew?
Yeah.
And finally, let's give you our supplier top tip. And this week it comes from Georgia, also known as Little Miss Whippy, from Pink's Vintage Ice Cream Vans.
My top wedding tip would be to consider what your guests will be doing at times when you may be preoccupied. For example, whilst you're having your photos taken or whilst the room's being turned around. We've seen that this is the best time to serve something really cool, like having an ice cream van come along and serve your guests ice creams, or cocktails, canapes, that sort of thing. It just helps keep the day moving smoothly.
Thank you, Georgia. Great tip.
I love ice cream.
Me too.
I could do with one today.
Yeah, it's really hot.
Yeah, it's lovely. So next episode,
go on.
We are going to be doing a bit of a winter wedding special. So just talking about what type of venues to look for, how you can make it cozy and warm and delicious, and why a winter wedding's just as good as a summer one, really.
I love a winter wedding. I'm down for it.
And that's it from us this episode.
It
So
is.
you can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are at Wildly Wed Pod, and you can also find us on YouTube, Wildly Wed Pod, which is where we've got our new video episodes. Exciting. And also on Instagram at Wildly Wed Pod. So see you there.
Cheerio.
Say I do to the Wildly Wed podcast. Follow us on Insta at Wildly Wed Pod.